So it's official. Fanz has closed its doors to a certain extent, as in the project is now completely and utterly dead. Now, this is not a video that I particularly wanted to make. I know a lot of people got involved with FanX, and it's a terrible situation what's happened. And also, this is not a video about putting the boot in. The reason why I've made this video is because we were there from the whole journey, and it's kind of like a way to end it. I didn't. I was literally going to speak about a particular AI agent today, and I saw this news earlier. I spoke to some of the creators and some of the people involved, and there's a lot of sadness, and a lot of people are upset. And obviously, as you know, if you don't know, if you are new to this journey, I'll explain a little bit. I'll give you a little idea of the story so far. But obviously, this is now the chapter closed. It's massively unfortunate, and it's not the time to be putting the boot into Front Fans or FanX in any way. I genuinely hoped that they would do well, but obviously things changed along the way, and we'll have a little kind of talk about that to a certain extent. So the post that was put in their Telegram and has obviously been put in their X profile today, which is, hey, everyone, want to let you know that we've made the tough decision to close the project. We're really grateful to all of you, our investors, creators, and team members who have been part of this journey. We gave it our all, but sometimes it's best to know when to move on. Wishing you all the best in whatever comes next. Thanks for being with us. Now, it is a huge shame, and the reason why it's a huge shame is there is still a massive need for this. I find it strange that, I mean, obviously, with it being like Web3, you need the seamless integration in Web2 and Web3, and it had that. It ticked all the boxes. It was a running business. It was doing well. Now, there's not much other options within the adult sphere within crypto, and there is definitely a need for this. So some of the pain points that it initially addressed, obviously, were chargebacks to creators. So people who are on OF and other different platforms along those lines could sell something custom to a consumer. That consumer could then go, oh, my wife might find out my credit card bill says OF or something along them lines, and then they could charge it back and say, no, it wasn't me, it must be fraud. And then basically the creator loses out and doesn't receive what they're due. Now, I've spoken to quite a few of the creators today regarding this news, and like I say, it is sad, and they are obviously upset, and they're looking at next steps for themselves and things like that. It is sad. So, but that was one of the key points that chargebacks existed, and the fact that crypto offered anonymity to users. So it's one of them. I still think there's a big gap in the market for this. I really do. So the reason why I'm making this video is because we spoke about Front Fans a while back. This was a brief kind of discussion about the story. Is discovered the project. I thought it was really good. It was female led, which I thought was massively important because I think that supported the creators. I think it also gave people a bit more safety around the whole platform, and I think it was important. So there was obviously Jordana Fox, Stacey Carter. There's a few people in there that were leading the project. So we did obviously an initial video, then we did a platform demonstration to give you guys an idea of what it was. We've done AMAs with Jordana, Adam, Liv. There's a few like really good people still who are at the project who are no longer there, but they are still really good people, and it was interesting to see how things could develop. And then we did a bit of an AMA with a few of the creators on their own. Then I made a video that I was leaving the Front Fans investment, so I decided that I was no longer going to have my money tied up within Front Fans, so I sold my tokens, and that was a video that I got a lot of stick for. I got a lot of comments, a lot of Telegram messages, and all that kind of stuff, slating me, saying that I was wrong and I shouldn't do it. It's a knee-jerk reaction, all that kind of stuff. Which they could have been right at the time. This is not about who was right. It's nothing to do with that, because at the end of the day, everyone seems to have suffered it at some point or another during this particular project. And I don't want to be like, oh, well, I was right, because basically I'll show you what the chart did after the videos and stuff like that. But when I left the investment, I got a lot of stick, as you can imagine. Um, Unnecessarily at the time, because I said, look, I've just made a decision. This is what I'm doing. It was based on the announcement that Jordana Fox had left, and it just felt like the right time to go because I wasn't sure what direction the platform was going to go in anymore. Adam, by the way, was absolutely superb. Definitely want to remain in touch with him because he's always looking at new things and he's always got some alpha on something. So I'm going to tap him up for something at some point, for some alpha wise, and maybe some projects that he might know about. And then we did a final video before this one. So this is like the final video, but the final video we did was an interview with Jordana Fox and Adam, who at the time was still working at Fanz and wanting to address any concerns that investors may have. So I gave them the opportunity to do that here because we'd gone through the journey together. So I thought it was the right thing to do, and I think it still is the right thing to do, was to give the platform the option to speak back. So this is what's happened. So obviously on news that the project had now fallen officially, it tanked, and then some people must have bought some, and then it really tanked again, and it's ultimately going to go to zero. Obviously, if you are still subscribed, you are still in Fanz, you need to have a look at the chart. You need to have a look at what's going on. The market cap now is 59,291, which when we first spoke about it, the market cap was about $500,000. It then jumped up to like $5 million. So it was a 10x in about 20 days. I think it was vast. It was a fast growth. And then since then, there's been a steady decline. I think the migration was just after this point. So I sold when things were like when Jordana left. So there was a bit of a dip then. And then I think I sold around about there. Didn't make a massive amount of money. And then it went up because people were saying, well, migration's coming. People still invested in the project. And that's absolutely fine. You've always got to make your own decisions. There is no financial advice. After the migration, it started to drop considerably, had another little spike, and then kept going down basically for the best part of a year. So what changed? Like, what was ultimately the change? Now, speaking to some of the creators and stuff like that, it took a very different turn. So the original founders weren't speaking about it so much. It was kind of a very different project after a couple of months after we did a video to what it was 2 months after. So there was involvement from other people. The owners, for whatever reason, started to sort of not do as much. Now, I don't know whether that's a reality or what went wrong there. It concerned me as it went on that there was issues, and then obviously I've had a few creators reach out to me and say that then they wasn't happy with how things were starting to be run and how things were changing. Because prior to that, the team was absolutely superb, mainly female led, but very well backed, and it ticked all the boxes. Like I said, if you do ever look back on them videos, you probably won't now. But if you do, it ticked all the boxes. It was a working business. It was solving a pain point. It was involving crypto. It had the Web2 to Web3 integration to be almost seamless, and it was literally taking care of something like a niche. It was involved in like an area that doesn't get spoken about hardly at all, particularly on YouTube. But I think there is a market for something like this. So this may go again, as in not this project, but something along these lines could actually take off and do really, really well. We'll look at some alternatives in a little while. But spoiler alert, there isn't many to even consider. Considering how much the adult industry is always innovative, like a lot of things that are innovative start with the adult industry. A lot of a lot of money. It's one of the biggest industries in the world. And this was like a really good place, but then there was issues about safety on platform and things like that. So those issues were supposedly being addressed. But I know a lot of people who were part of the team who decided that they were no longer going to be part of the team, who I've spoken to at length. Obviously, it just hasn't gone the way it should have gone. And I'm very disappointed. I'm gutted for everyone who invested in FanX and then ultimately saw its demise to this point, because it's a hard pill to swallow, and I know that that it had real potential. At one point, I was really excited about it. At one point, it was my third biggest holding. I was like, wow, I caught this early. This is going to go to the moon. Um, and and yeah, something obviously changed, and it made a massive difference. Um, as I've said before, it solved the pain point of chargebacks. It solved the pain point of husband, wife, anonymity, that kind of stuff. Um, but the team change obviously made a massive difference. And then the type of content changed. The TG felt different. Things were not as buoyant and bullish as they once were, and it's made a massive impact, obviously. And originally, like I said before, with it being female led, the female led team had experience in the adult industry. They were doing, they knew the pitfalls and that for new creators to come on. It was like an arm around them. I thought that's a really good thing. That could be a really good play. They had migration issues, obviously. Most projects do. I don't think migration is always a good idea. But in this case, that's what they decided to do. And again, it did solve the Web 2 to Web 3, problem. The website itself, as you can see, is there. We've gone through this before, but you can have a look through this if you want to. It's just, like I say, it's very sad. And I do generally feel sorry for the investors, the creators, the fans of the actual platform, because I don't know when the platform's going to disappear, when the website's going to be taken down, things like that. I don't know when that will be. I don't think there's been like a detailed statement released at this stage, but it is obviously sad. Briefly spoke to Jordana earlier, and obviously, like everyone else, she's gutted. She had friends there. She wants them to do well, and they haven't. Adam, because I met some great people on the way. It was a really good ride. There was some brilliant people that I met along the way. Adam, who was superb at really getting the message out of what FanX could do, and I think that if any company decides to try and replace FanX, to get him on board would be a massive thing, and Jordana and Shelby Patterson and a few other people. But Adam had this ability to vocalize. Fantastic communications director, does fantastic things. I really got on with the guy, and he was dead genuine, and he always knew what he was talking about, which I think is really important. So if Adam ever has anything in the future, I'm definitely going to tap him up for some alpha on any other things that may take place. Shelby, again, she's obviously gutted as well. Miss Nevis, spoke to her earlier as well, and she was, obviously upset and was a big creator on the platform. Northern Exposure, again, another person. Again, feel free to follow all these. These are all great people that I've spoken to personally, and they're all going to look for next steps. Another one was April Jade. They were all really good people, and it's a shame that this has gone how it's gone. In forms of how the content went, it went from being more sort of girl next door kind of stuff to more of a fetish based side, and obviously whatever floats your boat, obviously, but there is a bigger market for more generic type of things, and it is a shame that what's happened has happened, and I just wanted to make sure that we're at least talking about it. We're kind of completing the journey to a certain extent, and if you look at like alternatives, so adult cryptos, if you look at all the alternatives, like Rocket is 99% down from all time high. Pawn Rocket, I can't say that word. Corn Rocket is down 99%. Taboo down 100%. So they're all down. Like there's no real incentive to getting behind a crypto in this sector. It just seems to be destined to fail. Now, I don't know why that is. Is there an element of greed? Is there an element of inexperience with Web3? But with FanX, that didn't have that. So FanX did have experience in Web3. So it doesn't make sense to me why it went as bad as it did. I don't know the ins and outs. I imagine that more things will come to light in the future. And I'm happy to talk about it if that's what you guys want. Because obviously I know you guys want to kind of, closure over it basically. But Pleasure Coin, I think, was previously started by Jordana. or at least she was involved. That's still alive, but for how long, I don't know. They've said today that they're offering a bit of a safer haven for Fanix creators to go into their TG and things like that, so that there's an avenue there. But you know, do you know any adult cryptos? Because there isn't. I think there's a demand for it, but there's just not been a product for it that can actually satisfy the demand yet. And Fanix did have that, so that's why I'm so not annoyed. It's just like, why did you fuck it up so royally? Like it could have done so much better, and it did have great potential. Like I was really really bullish on it. I generally thought that it would be like a lottery ticket play that would pay off, because it was tackling things that just aren't being tackled by other cryptos. So yeah, I mean, let me know in the comments below which adult tokens that you're looking at, because it'd be interesting to see if there's any kind of competitors or anything like this that could kind of match up to it. Always looking at new innovative sectors within crypto, but unfortunately Fanix didn't finish what it started. And as a pioneer, I guess, for adult crypto, it's shown the way. There was some really bullish sentiment around the tokenomics and things like that, and I really think that had they have either persisted with their initial strategy, then they might have done really really well, getting rid of Jordana and then ultimately losing Adam and all the other people that were in the team that ultimately disappeared. That's a massive error, in my opinion. I don't run adult companies, but I just feel as though all that experience that went to waste essentially, and didn't give the Fanix platform a real opportunity to flourish. I know that obviously creators weren't earning a lot from the platform, but that was due to the fact that everything had changed. Initially, it was onboarding new users all the time, and things were doing really really well. But since that, it's become awful, and I do genuinely, my heart goes out to all the creators, investors, and everything like that, because it had such potential, and it's just a sad day. It's not time to put the boot in. It's not time to say who was right, who was wrong. It's none of that. Like I said before, I got heavily slated for selling my investment, but at least I told you guys that's what I did, and I told you guys straight away the day of. We did a live stream, which you can see here. This live stream here, we did it the day of. The minute I found out Jordana was leaving, I sold my tokens, told everyone about it. She'd already made a statement in the Front Fanz Telegram anyway, so it wasn't like new information I was bringing to you. It was information that was already out there. But it does feel a shame, and I'm very disappointed that it ended like this for Front Fanz. I'd hoped that they'd keep on going, building, and eventually, come back from where they were after Jordana left, and subsequently other team members left on top. It's a shame, and yeah, I just wish that it turned out differently for everyone. But like I said, I'm not here to put the boot in. I'm just here to complete the journey. Put the final video in, which is this. Like I said before, it's not a video I planned on making today at all. I'm just very surprised this news has come out, and yeah, it's a terrible time for the Front Fanz. But like I said, you keep moving forward. Is there any other adult tokens that you want to talk about in the comments below? Let me know. We'll definitely look into them. And yeah, like I said, it's just it is a shame, and hopefully that something from its ashes will be born. But obviously the token itself is about to go to zero, and it's a shame. So yeah, like I said, didn't want to make this video today at all. Wasn't on my agenda, but I will get back to you tomorrow with something different. And I know this is not really for new subscribers, maybe, but it's just I want to give you guys an overview, and I want to complete the journey. I'm never going to delete any of the Fanix videos. I want them all to always stay there, so you can always see that journey. I'm not going to hide anything from you guys. You can see it all. It's all going to be in that playlist, and you can feel free to look back at that whenever you wish, if you wish. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you do, have an amazing day. Have an amazing evening. and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.